Michael,
Those are.
let's hear you.
What's that?
I said, let's hear you.
You ready to go?
Yeah. Did you already start it?
Yeah, it started.
Oh, okay. I will get out of here. That means folks are jumping in now.
Okay. Let's see how many are in here. So
if you click on the participants, you'll see who's popping in.
Oh, I got 25 in here. Okay, well.
All right, friends.
Awesome. Let's take it away. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. It's definitely it's my honor to be here and to represent OSI-CAN and to talk about resources that are available for men and women to talk about mental health and to have positive conversations about mental health and resources that are out there. OSI-CAN, I'm going to start with the name. A lot of people tend to call it OSI Canada, and it's not. OSI-CAN actually started in 2016 as a named project between the Canadian Mental Health Association, Saskatchewan Division, and the Alberta Legion Command. And it was started by a former British military member turned paramedic. And the name OSI-CAN is a metaphor for hope. The idea being that if you remove the occupational stress or the operational stress, the OS, all it leaves is the self-intentioned I can, right? I can be supported, I can find resources, I can recover. OSI-CAN has been strong in Saskatchewan for many years now. And in 2016, 2017, as a longtime first responder, a friend of mine who was a longtime military member, and another friend of ours who was a longtime police officer, we realized that for a lot of the people within our demographic who were struggling, there was little or no resource available that they could openly and freely access. Obviously, there's a lot of organizational resources, but there are also a lot of barriers that exist for many of us. And those of you who are in here tonight, men who struggle with mental health, you understand that we self-stigmatize and sometimes we're our own worst enemy. And even though resources are out there, they're very difficult. Sometimes it's hard to just admit that you need help. And trying to find that, especially when it's formal, is a really difficult barrier to get over. And so in 2017, here in Alberta, we started a little program, a little grassroots program, the three of us began, where we created safe spaces for people to come in. You could park in the front. You didn't have to come in a secret side door. You come in the front door with your head held high. And when you walked in, what you found was a space that we owned that was only full of lived experience peers, veterans and first responders who were telling their story in a different way. And we're looking to find resources and share their stories so that they could support others, and most of all, that they could support their own recovery and try to find a way to better mental health. In 2020, OSI-CAN Alberta became a named project of the Canadian Mental Health Association. And I always tell everyone that literally was like us winning the mental health lottery as first responders. There's very little resource available. There's very little that we could actually access easily. And Canadian Mental Health Association has been fantastic in allowing us to build a program that is focused on what the end user needs, what the peers themselves who use the program, what they're looking for. So rather than creating a canned program that would be parachuted into communities, OSI-CAN now works with communities and the demographic from within those communities to create programs that support them and offer them that true community connection to things that are available to them. And that's not necessarily just programs that OSI-CAN offers. One of the things with being connected to the Canadian Mental Health Association is that it allows us access to all of the amazing resources that exist in communities through CMHA, through Alberta Health Services, through participation in organizations like the Alberta Men's Collaborative. And what that's done for us is it's allowed us not only to create great access for those groups, but it's also been able to allow us to help support their families. Often, as veterans and first responders, we're not supported at home, especially if our family members aren't in the industry, or we're not having open conversation with them about what it is that we need to be supported. And so one of the things that we committed to in the very beginning was ensuring that there was resources available for our families, and that there was access to family specific groups as well. So currently in Alberta, we have 10 groups. We're just on the verge right now of developing a new group down in Red Deer, central Alberta. But there's groups from Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray, the Edmonton area, like I said, central Alberta soon enough, all the way down to Calgary. And the groups are all designed where the need comes from within the community. And once it's identified from within the community, we then support those individuals who want to bring the program to their area to build and develop it and provide the resources for them to create a sustainable, economical, and accessible program. And so through that work over the last couple of years, we've also been able to create some really amazing partnerships. So OSI-CAN currently, the bread and butter of the program is the peer groups and the family groups. But we've always been focused on being able to provide value-added service as well. And so we do that through amazing partnerships that we've been able to create over the last couple of years. So we do service dog acquisition, or we assist with service dog acquisition, I should say. And one of the ways that we do that is through a partnership with BC Alberta Guide Dogs. And BC Alberta Guide Dogs being one of the only accredited service dog organizations in Western Canada, who specifically raises PTSD service dogs for veterans and first responders. It gives us great access to a program where we know that if somebody comes into our program and is looking for that aid to daily living because they're struggling with social anxiety or isolation, or they've been diagnosed with a condition that doesn't allow them to get out and function on a daily basis, that service dogs are something that is incredibly beneficial. And so with partnering with them, we've been able to get service dogs out to veterans and first responders in Alberta for the last 2 years. One of the other amazing partnerships that we have too is with Prospect Human Services. And Prospect is an amazing Alberta nonprofit that has worked with us and helped us to, through them, develop a program called Forces at Work First Responder. And the Forces at Work program itself has been supporting veterans for over a decade now to help them transition from a career either in the military and now in emergency services into the civilian sector, and to help them overcome some of the challenges that they struggle with because of mental health, and some of the challenges that they struggle with in either leaving the career, or if they have to leave the career because of choice or circumstance, getting back on their feet and finding purposeful, meaningful employment. So not just finding a job, but finding something that's going to support them, for until actual retirement. We partnered with equine assisted learning programs across Alberta to provide a program that we call Healing with Horses. It's very new. We were only able to, coming out of COVID, last year was the first chance that we had to run that program. But again, partnering with equine assisted learning partners, therapists, and being able to provide a different adjunct to learn about mental health. So rather than just coming into group or just going to therapy, equine assisted learning has helped us create an environment where we can go out and use really empathic animals, such as the horses, to help overcome some of the challenges of mental health. And in that program, we've also been able to talk about other programs that exist out there. So talking about things like mindfulness-based stress reduction, talking about what peer support looks like, and giving people sort of a taste of some of the really useful resources that are out there that they can connect with after, an equine assisted learning event. We're just embarking on a lot of research as well, and being involved with organizations like Highmark at the University of Alberta, and being involved in some of the programs that they provide, some of the therapies that they're researching, and again, get access to those different resources to our demographic who may not be connected with an organization anymore. A lot of times, a lot of people who are involved in our program are either on the precipice of leaving the industry because they've been permanently restricted, or they're going through WCB, and they may not ever go back to the job as first responders. For a lot of them, that leaves a giant gap in their life. You know, how do you feel connected? How do you deal with the loss of your identity? How do you deal with the lack of confidence that comes with that? And so by being connected to, by having our groups and being connected to all of these great resources, when somebody connects with us, it gives us a lot of tangible resource in being able to provide to them. So it's not necessarily about just what OSI-CAN provides or what the Canadian Mental Health Association provides. It's really about being connected to the larger community of mental health and great organizations like the Alberta Men's Collaborative, where when somebody calls and says, this is what I'm looking for, we know where that resource exists, and we can either connect them quickly or, you know, we can put them in touch with somebody that can reach that resource. So as we go to the last few minutes, I just OSI-CAN, because we're a program of the Canadian Mental Health Association, is a named project of CMHA. We are a named resource on 211 here in Alberta. So if you're not familiar with 211, it's a mental health resource where you can call that number and tell them what it is that you're looking for, whether you're a veteran, whether you're Joe Q public, a man or woman, child. You can find resources through through them for almost anything in communities around Alberta. If you connect with OSI-CAN, the way that process looks nowadays is if you contact us through our website or you contact us directly, you'll go to our provincial service coordinator, which is Jason Trenham. And Jason Trenham was a 20-year military veteran. Jason's worked in the peer support sector for several years now, and really is an amazing individual who has really strived to find out what resources exist out there and how to connect with them. And so last year we were able to create the provincial service coordinator position, where anyone who contacts us now, their first point of contact is Jason. And one of the things that Jason is amazing at is starting off the conversation by asking them, what is it that they need? What is it that they're looking for or hoping to find? And that really, we've gotten a lot of feedback about how different that is. How you get to connect with a lived experience peer, you're empowered to decide what it is that you want to do and how you want to do it, what you're looking for. And I would say that in the vast majority of cases where people have contacted us, we've been able to find them a resource quite quickly and connect them with what it is that they need. When you connect with Jason, Jason's really good about getting back. Again, it's not just about being a veteran or being a first responder. Us being part of the Alberta Men's Collaborative, just being a man in general. If you're looking for a resource, this is why we're connected with the AMC, is because it gives us great opportunity to share with people all of the amazing things that are going on around the province. So it's again, it's empowering work. It's for many of us that are involved in the program, we're all lived experience peers. We have a clinical oversight in the program, but the whole program is built, developed, and delivered by lived experience peers. So most of us diagnosed with or living with PTSD and occupational stress injury. And because of that, I mean, it creates some really amazing conversations within our groups, and it creates some really amazing conversation when somebody does call and isn't connected with something, and the first person that they get to chat with is a lived experience peer who has walked that road in some capacity. And it really alleviates a lot of fear and concern. And we know from the research that we're doing that it tears down a lot of the barriers that exist for people. I'm just going to say in the last 2 minutes, it's been interesting how many people have called out of the blue, not realizing what the program is or having never heard about it before. Again, as a grassroots program, promotion and engagement is the hardest piece for us. It's the hardest way, it's the hardest thing to get out there. And people call because they learn about it through a friend, they learn about it through a colleague, they learn about it through their clinician. And when they do call us, it's amazing how many people are in tears. And they're in tears because they're happy that they finally found someone who gets it, an organization that gets it. And at the end of the day, there are tangible resources and real solutions that come at no cost. You don't need to be diagnosed. You don't need to wait in a queue. We can get you connected and find those resources in very short order. So again, I appreciate the time tonight. I really appreciate everyone coming to the Love Letter for Men. It's been amazing to be part of this for the last 2 years, and I look forward to being part of it for years to come. So thank you very much.
Thanks a ton, Mike. And friends, again, you'll have to pop back into the lobby and we will get ready for David Long talking about how being a dad can make you a little bit healthier. And Mike, did you share your website?
Yes, I was going to say it's right behind me. So
OSICANAB.ca.
yeah, but I will throw it up in the chat.
Perfect.
It's on the. It's in the speaker info as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everyone.